Hello YouTube. I don't really post a lot of videos, but I thought I would post this one just to kind of throw my word in there, and join the community with regards to Fanatec products. I literally just recently purchased this. I thought I would do a quick video about what I thought and maybe just give some share my thoughts and my impressions of the wheel and the wheelbase. And I also got the V3s, the clubsport V3s. I plan on upgrading the shifter and the handbrake to the Fanatec sequential shifter and the handbrake at some point, but not right now. I'm not sure where to start, so I'm just gonna say that I'm a very recent sim racing conductee per se. I don't really do serious sim racing. I play primarily for fun, but I just started probably about 4 months ago. I used to play with a keyboard all the time, at least when it came to racing games like the classic Need for Speed and all that stuff. All my life I used to play with a keyboard, and I started back into PC gaming not too long ago and started playing some of those old titles like Most Wanted, for example. Got back into that, but I noticed while I was playing, again, a keyboard, not exactly in terms of controls, it wasn't exactly the most enjoyable experience per se. And I've been seeing online a lot of videos about people using sim racing gear like the G29, the G920, any other Thrustmaster product were kind of a big thing as well. So I decided, you know what, I'm gonna give this a try and see how it goes. Why not? I figured, what's the worst that can happen? If it works, it works. If it doesn't, then whatever. I still play a lot of other games, so it's not really a big deal. And then I bought a Logitech, I think it's called a G Pro. It's one of the very early force feedback wheels that you can get with just the two pedals, and I actually really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it so much I decided that I'm gonna go out and buy a G20, G29, and I did, and that was about 4 months ago or 5 months ago, I'd say. And it's been great. The wheel was great. I loved the force feedback. It was definitely a totally different experience from going from a keyboard to a wheel. You start to sort of enjoy the games a little bit more, mostly because the whole input method completely changed. So that getting the wheel, that big variable, was definitely a very, very good addition overall to my gaming rig. So from there I started playing a lot of games. I started playing Dirt Rally 2.0, Dirt 4, Forza Horizon. Currently play a lot of that for. And I quickly realized that I'm so into sim racing, like very, very much into sim racing. I stopped playing CSGO, I stopped playing CS Source, even Dishonored I'm a big fan. I've been playing for quite some time, and I just, fire that up whenever I want to have some fun. But for the past 4 or 5 months, nothing other than sim racing games. I bought the G29, and right after probably about 2 weeks later, I bought the G29 shifter, and I ended up getting the Thrustmaster one. I got this handbrake off of Amazon. That was a decent addition as well. I really, really like this thing. It's a little finicky and not exactly quality construction per se, but I think they did it on purpose just so that they extend the life of the joints and all the parts that are in there. But it's an analog handbrake, so it really changes the experience when you're playing. Save from having buttons mounted up on the rig itself like it was with the G29. So anyways, just go back 3 months. After I bought the G29, and I started to really enjoy it and play with it, and watching a lot of videos online. All kinds of other gear started to show up. If YouTube starts to recommend videos, all kinds of different videos for you to watch, and a lot of those were focusing on the different types of drive wheels that are out there, and these units that are out there, and all the different brands that are out there. I started to learn about Thrustmaster and Fanatec and all the other brands that are out there, SimCube. Just off the top of my head, I can't name all the other ones. But anyways, Fanatec really stuck out. I mean, in terms of features, in terms of value, in terms of just everybody else's impressions and everybody else's opinions about the wheel were starting to really, really get in my head, and I was like, you know what, maybe this is worth looking into. So I started looking around for used ones, for example, and I started to notice that they're not really easily found, which in my opinion usually leads that people are happy with them and they keep them when they buy them, so they don't exchange hands very much, which in my opinion in the entire product world is a good thing. So I started thinking about it, and for I'd say about a month or 2 months straight, I was really, really interested. So for the past 2 months, all I've been thinking about was starting up my own collection or setup for a Fanatec setup. And after looking a lot around and looking at a lot of videos and a lot of opinions, I decided I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna bite the bullet, and I'm gonna save up some money and get it. And I finally managed to do that. Big shout out to simulation1.ca. Simulation1.ca. It's a Canadian store in Markham for all you Canadians there. If you know the cities, so he's got a store in Markham. He's pretty much the only guy that I think is available in all of Canada right now that you can buy from, and luckily he was only about an hour away. So anyways, up until I found him, so I found him about early last week, and up until then I was determined to buy from Fanatec, because that's pretty much the only way that you can get them guaranteed. And for 2 months I was going back and forth about what kind of setup I want to have, and I'm trying to get to save as much money as I possibly can, or to get the most value that I can to get myself started. And I know some of you are probably thinking, well, the V3s are really expensive, that's not the way to start. And I'll explain what happens with those at this point, but basically I decided to do a lot of research and find out how I can get away with getting a Fanatec setup without paying a ton of money. And it was a ton of money. I mean, for the average person, this is not the kind of thing that you can buy with probably with one paycheck. You'd probably have to save a few or put aside some money here and there to actually get yourself something like this. But up until I found him, I was planning to buy everything from Fanatec, and it was such a pain dealing with the conversion rate and all that stuff, and thinking about the shipping and how much the shipping was going to cost. So anyways, I found this store, and I know some of you are going to probably say they're very pricey. And look, okay, I understand, like, the wheel. So I'm going to give you guys a price, a price on everything right now, but you got to consider that if I were to buy all this stuff from Fanatec directly and have them shipped, they would have cost me exactly the same. Exactly the same. I didn't even have to pay a processing fee for some reason. I'm not really sure why. It's there on the website. But to be honest, if the fact that he has them here ready to pick up meant that I didn't have to wait for them to be shipped, which when I found the website, I was like, oh my god, I gotta get this weekend. I'm not gonna wait until next week. And that's exactly what ended up happening, because I'm like, okay, this is great. If I don't have to wait for it for the 2 weeks, I'm willing to pay the extra price. When I say the extra price, let's just say let me just give you an idea right now. So the wheelbase was $600. I'm gonna tell you right now, though, I got a decent deal on this, because this is the PS4 version, so it's compatible with the two consoles, with Xbox, PS4, and obviously PC. On the Fanatec's website, this thing goes for $400 American. Do the conversion and add the tax, it will come up to a little over $600 Canadian. So I actually got myself a decent deal on this. Simulation 1 sells the wheelbase of the version 1.1, the one that's only compatible with Xbox and PC, for the same price as this. So he has the same price. He has $600 for both wheelbases. Okay. So in my mind, and on the Fanatec's website, the 1.1 is $350 American, while the PS4 is $400. So you kind of get yourself a little bit of a deal, a little bit. You can't expect that when, obviously if there was competition, I gotta say maybe the prices would be a little bit better. But again, you pay what you get what you pay for. Okay? This is a very, very high quality product. I don't care much for the plastic, I gotta say. And this is one of the reasons why I was considering to get the clubsport 2.5, but that thing is very expensive. Either way, I want to get started, so at some point I am going to sell this. Once I save up a little more money, I am going to sell this and upgrade to a 2.5. I've seen the comparisons online, just so you guys know. From what I've seen, what I've read, it's probably not worth the upgrade. Okay, but hear me out. The only reason why I would want to upgrade to it is because of the all-metal construction. In terms of longevity, I think, I don't know, I could be wrong, and I might have problems with it. But in terms of longevity, I think it's going to last a little bit longer. Either way, I think this thing is going to last a long time, and it depends on how attached I get to it. I might not end up upgrading to the 2.5, because at the end of the day, from what I've noticed online, what I've read and seen on YouTube, it's not really worth the upgrade. Not for the difference in price. Not unless you want stronger force feedback and a little bit more precision. That's really all it comes down to. And speaking of which, plenty strong, very, very precise, and I have to say smooth. I've heard a lot of people say that on YouTube, and I just couldn't understand what they were saying. And I have to say, I am very, very impressed. You can actually, it's weird to say this, feel the smoothness coming through the wheelbase and into the wheel. The car drives, you can actually feel the road a lot better. And I'm not going to exaggerate, but I have increased my performance exponentially. Well, by exponentially, that's in my own, humble experience, because I've only been driving sim games for 5 months. And even then, even with the G29, I was getting a lot better every day, because I've been playing every day. I think I've been playing about an hour or 2 hours daily, a little more on the weekends. But I actually can't wait to sit down and play every day. So having that extra precision and smoothness in the way the force feedback comes through the wheel, and you feel it in every single turn, and the way the road is, like, I mean, Dirt Rally 2, I'm noticing a lot more. I'm gonna say this, and even though I didn't understand it when I heard it a lot, fidelity. I think when you think about a word like that, you have to consider a lot of different variables. So you'd have to consider the type of the car that you're driving, the course that you're driving on, how fast you're going. All of these things matter in terms of what kind of force feedback you feel through the base and through the wheel. So in terms of performance, I don't want to say I'm blown away. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just a wheel, and it is very, very precise, and it is very strong. So I had to mess around a lot with my settings in order to get everything kind of. So I just bought this yesterday, actually. I went to Markham to pick it up, and then I basically spent all day setting it up, just getting everything ready and setting it up. What I wanted to show you guys here is just the Fanatec properties page. So I'm just gonna take this up here. So you get this. So let me just, okay, before I get here, maybe I can tell you exactly what I got. So I got the NASCAR wheel rim. Unfortunately, this was the only deep dish that he had, and I really wanted a deep dish for rallying and for drifting. I really love drifting on Forza Horizon 4. I suck at it. I'm getting a lot better, and every time I get better, my love for this whole idea of sim racing just changes, because it's I'm sorry to get sidetracked right now, but it's such a relaxing experience. I know, how is driving super fast cars a relaxing experience? To me, it is. I really like. I don't know how time passed by when I'm playing, but it's just amazing. So I got this wheel, unfortunately, because he didn't have anything else in stock. Initially, I wanted to get the clubsport wheel rim, the oval wheel rim. I looked into the red one, the drift one, but because it's a little bit smaller of a wheel rim, I didn't I didn't want to go for it. This is a 35 centimeter, so I think it's about 14-inch wheel, which is the standard car size. I have to say, what really made me change from the G29 was the wheel size was too small, and the pedals. The pedals were terrible, in my opinion anyway. They did the job. They were great in terms of getting the job done. But in terms of brake modulation, for example, just horrible. It was more or less on and off. It wasn't really anything else. It felt like I was locking up my wheels all the time. Playing Dirt Rally 2 was very difficult. Um, Normally speaking, I don't even use the brake, which is kind of hilarious if you watch me play. Um, you'll notice that I don't even bother using the brake, but I hope this is going to change that. And it has. My experience with these pedals has been I'm gonna get to that. Anyways, so I got the wheel, the NASCAR wheel, and I got the podium hub because this was the least expensive way to get a wheel, or a deep dish wheel on this base without getting the universal hub, which is a lot more expensive. Um, well, I wouldn't say a lot more. All things put in perspective, and relatively speaking, when you consider everything else's costs, um, this was a decent option. I like the fact that it's modular too, and eventually, if I want to add anything to it, I might. But I think I might sell this one too, and go for the universal hub eventually, just to replace this monstrosity. I'm using this temporarily to control, you know, the games and everything in order to move around the menus and everything. But I think I might just go to a universal hub to get the functionality of the buttons as well on the rim. That way I don't have to keep moving around to stretching and leaning forward to get the to get the um, to get the controller. Um, so this was about 270 with tax Canadian. Um, it was a little bit more expensive than the oval. The oval's 200, so I had to pay the extra difference when I got there, unfortunately. But it is what it is. The podium hub was 300, 600 for the wheelbase, and then 600 for the V3s. Wow, I know, yeah, very pricey. And the thing is, I had no other choice. The only other choice was a CSL Elite without the load cell. I need my three pedals. I can't drive with two. It frustrates me. My left foot is always looking for the clutch to clutch between um, gears. So there was no other option. Initially, I wanted to get the T3PA Pros and get those connected via a USB adapter, but those are almost out of stock everywhere. Um, Amazon has them for 240, with shipping taking up to a month, which wasn't gonna work out with the timeline that I wanted to sort of get this stuff. I also really wanted to get them before the long weekend. We have 4 days. I figured there's no way I'm gonna get through this long weekend on my G29. I really want the Fanatec stuff, so I kind of had about a few hours to decide. I either get the CSL Elites with just the two pedals, and kind of stick it out until the load cell become they're back orders right now, so until they come back in stock, and there's just no telling how long that's going to be, which just means I'm going to be miserable trying to play my favorite video games. So I decided to bite the bullet and get these. I wanted to upgrade to them eventually anyway, so it's a bad purchase. I do have some mixed feelings about them. One of the most common issues so YouTube, listen up. One of the most common issues with these pedals, if you go online right now and do some research, you'll find is that the gas pedal primarily will start to squeak after a while. Here now it's okay, but last night, only after 2 hours of game time, 2 hours, I was drifting on Forza Horizon, and then I switched to Dirt Rally 2.0, and I started to hear a very, very loud squeak. It was actually loud enough to annoy me, to stop, and I had to, take a look around to try and figure out where the noise was coming from. Anyways, I jumped on YouTube, I found some videos, and I know what the problem is. It's not there anymore, which is really weird. So I'm starting to believe that this is probably an issue related to dust. I've had these on the floor for 2 hours and they've already collected so much dust. It's driving me crazy. I'm going to go out to Canada Computers to buy a couple of those air cans, and that's so that I can dust these on a daily basis. My original G29, I had a problem with the pedals. The potentiometer started spiking at some point, and I had to replace them. This is another reason why I decided to upgrade, and it wasn't that I wasn't going to wait for anything else other than Fanatec. So I'm really concerned. I thought the Hall, well, having the Hall sensors on these definitely helps with that problem, so I don't have to worry about it. But I have to worry about the mechanical issues. But considering I just bought them, you'd think that they're already well greased, and that this shouldn't happen. So I have to say I'm personally disappointed with what I got. No fault on Simulation 1, Teddy. It's not, obviously not his fault. When you buy from him, you get them in sealed boxes directly from Fanatec. So it's not like he could have done anything about that. He might have had this one for a while. Maybe it was last year's production. I know Fanatec have been making these for quite some time, probably about 5 years. In terms of a unit in on itself, it is an old unit, and who knows, this might have been in storage for a while and just didn't get picked up, right? So that's what I'm assuming, that the grease on the hinge started to dry out a little bit, and as soon as I exposed it to air, the sound started. Either way, I'm gonna go to Walmart or to Canada Computers to get the air cans, and I'm gonna need to find a way to grease them. A lot of people are recommending WD-40 on YouTube, but I called Teddy and he said no. No to WD-40. He said any type of grease, but I saw one video, some guy used a WD-40 variant, or sorry, a product made by WD-40, but it's not WD-40, it's lithium grease, which is the same thing that you get with the V3s in the box. When you buy one, a little bottle of it. So you can spray it on the joints instead of trying to take anything apart and grease that, because I really don't want to take anything apart that's not meant to be taken apart, at least for customization options. So anyways, long story short, I'm very happy with the wheelbase. I'm very happy with the wheel. It is taking a little bit of adjusting. Another big point is how much this thing is sticking out compared to my G29, because my G29 was right here and now this thing is right here. So quite a distance. I'm gonna say about 7 or 8 inches, probably a little more, which is forcing me to sit a little further from the screen. A little bit annoyed about that, I'm not gonna lie. I'm trying to figure out what I can do to maybe fix this, but at this point, it's working out okay. I'm just trying to find the best possible position for everything. One really annoying part is that the shifter is really far now. If I want to sit comfortably behind this, I find that this is going to be really far, so I'm gonna have to. I'm really seriously going to have to try and mod this table with an extra piece of wood, maybe just to drill holes and attach a piece to the bottom of it that to stick out a little more out. That way I can attach this thing. The handbrake is fine. It's just this, especially when I'm in fifth gear. Um, it's a little far to get to it because of how far this thing. So please keep that in mind. If you plan on buying a setup like this, I actually just remembered watching a video, and this person mentioned it, and I thought I'd better keep that in mind, but I completely skipped. So it's one of those really easy things to forget, but very important to remember. Okay, it's going to change the way you sit. It's going to change the way you are away from the screen, which is definitely another variable that's going to change the way you play. So, anyways, in conclusion, I don't think I have a lot more to share. I'm gonna post this. I don't even think anybody's gonna watch this. Um, I really like this. I mean, if honestly, the only thing right now that's bothering me are the pedals. You know, it's just this little thing in the back of my head that's bothering me. The squeaking. And the brake pedal's taking a little bit of getting used to. The clutch is a little weird. I'm gonna say that. Mostly because it's got the feedback. If you've already seen some videos about this, you already know that there's a kick on the back at the end of the throw that simulates sort of like that you've went into the clutch and you're in clutch. It's gonna take some getting used to. The first hour with these things was horrible. I have to say. I also the brake pedal and the clutch are not very smooth. The finish is not very smooth. So if you're playing with socks like I do, it's gonna feel a little annoying. I might have to get some racing shoes, or one of those water shoes, the very thin water shoes, to kind of just add a little more padding. And I have to say, I think I still like the idea of an inverted set more than these. My foot keeps slipping on the gas pedal. I keep finding myself readjusting my foot constantly. So maybe it's just gonna be maybe it's just gonna take some time for me to shit. What just happened? Oh, nope, I'm still recording. I got a warning for low battery. I thought my video stopped. Okay. All right, so real quick, I'm just going to say if you're in the market for a Fanatec, good for you. Save up some cash. It's definitely worth it. I should mention that the rev lights work on all the games that I tried. Well, I only tried 2 games, the 2 main games that I cared for. But I've seen a video. Some guy said they don't work in Dirt Rally 2, but they do. I'm happy to report that. I'm happy to report they work in Forza Horizon as well. So that's fantastic. I really like having them there. And that's it. If you have any questions, I'm just going to end the video at that, just so that it's not too long. If you have any questions, give me a shout. Leave a comment. And I'll do my best to get to it. Okay? Thank you. And stay safe out there.